Howdy, my name is Taylor Bergeron, and our group project focuses on a heat mitigation strategy for College Station and the Texas A&M campus. As we all know, walking from class to class in the severe Texas heat can be absolutely miserable. With more than 70,000 students, faculty, and staff moving around campus every day, heat exposure isn't just uncomfortable, it's a real public safety concern. To address this issue, our team developed an idea called Cool Corridors. These are shaded, cooled, and accessible pathways designed to reduce heat exposure during daily campus travel. The goal of Cool Corridors is to make walking across campus safer, help prevent heat related illnesses like dehydration and heat exhaustion, and support long term climate resilience for both the university and the surrounding community. Overall, our proposal highlights how strategic shade, cooling features, and heat resistant infrastructure can make a noticeable difference in everyday student life. In the rest of the presentation, we'll explain why this matters for College Station, how extreme heat is becoming a bigger hazard, and why cool corridors are a practical, science-based solution for Texas A&M University.
This is Asha Pluri, and you may be wondering where do we want to implement these cool corridors? The answer to that lies in the heart of College Station, Texas. Located in Brazos County, this area is perfect for those cool corridors, as College Station frequently reaches temperatures to the high hundreds, along with long and very humid summers. Additionally, College Station is home to almost 70,000 students. Most of these students are mostly relying on walking and public transit to get to classes or to the dining hall or to even get to their homes. And these strong temperatures, they don't just affect these students, but rather they affect all the people working together with these students, such as staff, workers, family, visitors for football games. And additionally, these cool corridors are very beneficial because within College Station, there isn't a lot of shaded walkways or resting areas. Typically, there's a lot of concrete, and with that sun hitting that concrete, it kind of traps that heat in and kind of makes College Station kind of like a heat trap, right? And looking closely at this graph that we have average temperatures, you can see the trend as the years go by. The average temperature seems to slowly but steadily increase. So these cool corridors would be a perfect implementation in College Station, Texas.
Hello, I'm Sydney Holland, and I'll be covering the hazard our proposal focuses on, which is extreme heat here in College Station and on the Texas A&M campus. For the scientific background, over the past 2 decades, College Station has experienced a noticeable rise in average summer temperatures, along with longer and more intense heat waves. According to the climate data, Brazos County has had multiple record-breaking high heat days just in 2024. These trends are directly linked to ongoing climate change, and they show that extreme heat is becoming more frequent and more severe. This creates long-term challenges for anyone who spends time outdoors on campus, especially during peak heat hours. The impacts of the extreme heat. First, it increases the risk of heat exhaustion, dehydration, and even heat stroke, especially for students walking long distances between classes and for outdoor workers like groundskeepers and construction crews. Second, the rising temperatures push campus buildings to use much more energy for cooling, increasing strain on local infrastructure. And finally, unsafe walking conditions reduce outdoor activity and can even affect academic performance. When it's extremely hot, getting to class becomes physically stressful, which affects comfort and productivity. For the local example, in 2023, Texas A&M went through over 30 consecutive days above 95 degrees with repeated heat advisories throughout College Station. During this period, basic everyday tasks like walking to class, working outside, or attending campus events became significantly more dangerous. This example shows how extreme heat is not just a seasonal inconvenience, it's a real and growing hazard that affects student safety and campus operations. That's why proposed cool corridors are so important for supporting heat resilience on campus.
My name's Zach, and I was in charge of the Cool Corridors portion of our project. So, to get started, I'm sure everybody's aware, but it gets pretty hot in College Station sometimes, so we came up with a couple ideas to help everybody cool off during those hot days. So, the first one I had was these little shade sails. These are pretty easy to implement over the campus. I think it'd be a pretty cost-effective way to do it, too. I've even seen some with UV-resistant materials, so it would really help keep the area underneath them really cool. And yeah, they're pretty easily customizable. I think you could do them in whatever colors you want, be it maroon or white. I'm sure you could even put the A&M logos on there. So it'd be a great way to help with some school spirit too. And then following that, I just had planting more trees around campus. It's a very environmentally friendly way of getting all the pathways shaded. I think it'd be really sustainable and just a great way to do it. After that, I had adding misting stations. This would be a little more cost intensive, so it may not be the easiest to implement all over, but especially just putting them at the like super busy intersections and things like that, I think would be a great way to help students stay cool on those super hot days. And then on the bottom there, you can even see, I think they have them at like amusement parks and things like that, but the little fans that just help spread mist around, I think it'd be great to put at like bus stops and things like that. And then, yeah, speaking of bus stops, we had heat reflective bus shelters. So you can get these bus shelters with like UV reflective tops. Just really help underneath them stay really cool. And, I'm sure it would help the students that are waiting on their buses for a long time stay cool in those summer days. And then, yeah, I just think it'd be really good to incorporate all of this within the student government. It would really be able to help spread awareness about the potential dangers of staying in the heat too long and keeping hydrated. So I think incorporating it through them would be a great idea. And then, yeah, there's just a list of my sources here, and thank you for listening.
All right, so my section explains why the cool corridors idea actually makes sense for Texas A&M and College Station. First, from a regional standpoint, College Station deals with a strong urban heat island effect because of how much concrete and open space we have on campus. Using native, drought-tolerant trees and simple shade structures fits really well with our climate and doesn't require a lot of maintenance. It works with the layout we already have instead of needing major construction. For the hazard itself, extreme heat, this project directly reduces how much students and workers are exposed to high temperatures during the day. By adding shade and cooling features along high traffic routes, it immediately makes walking around safer. Similar programs in places like Phoenix and Austin have already shown that these kinds of designs actually lower temperatures, so we know that idea is realistic. For the community, cool corridors are a practical and affordable improvement that students would feel every single day. They're easy to scale across campus, starting with a pilot route and expanding over time. These upgrades would make a huge difference for students, staff, and outdoor workers who spend a lot of time moving around campus in the heat. And on top of that, it helps strengthen A&M's reputation as a campus that prioritizes sustainability and climate resilience. Overall, cool corridors are a simple, science-based solution that fits our region, addresses a real hazard, and directly benefits the entire community.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy and I'm covering the feasibility of our Cool Corridors project. Basically what it would cost, where the money would come from, and how long it would take to build. So first, looking at the estimated costs, the main features of Cool Corridors are actually pretty affordable for a campus project. Shade sales cost around $5,000 to $8,000 each, and misting stations are about $2,000. The biggest expense is bus-style shelters, which range from $10,000 to $12,000 per unit, and for natural shade, planting new trees is only around $200 per tree, which makes it one of the cheapest and most effective cooling options. Next, for funding sources, Texas A&M already has an Office of Sustainability that supports projects like this, so that would be our first place to look. We could also apply for local green infrastructure grants from the City of College Station. And if extra funding is needed, student environmental fees or alumni donations could help cover the remaining cost. And then finally, our timeline is split into two phases. Phase 1 is a pilot project in 2 high-traffic campus routes, and that will take about 6 to 8 months to complete. After that, Phase 2 would expand the cool corridors to more parts of campus over 1 to 2 years. This phase approach keeps the project realistic, affordable, and easy to scale on the campus sees results. Overall, the Cool Corridors project is fully achievable with reasonable costs, multiple funding options, and a clear path for expansion.